Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another Burlingame. It's a small-town podcast sponsored by the Burlingame Historical Society. This is Mark Lucchese, also known as Mark at the Mic, and my guest today, Joe Baylock, is no stranger to my show, this being his third visit. He is one of the founding fathers of the Burlingame Voice, a weekly blog on the happenings going on around the city, county, and state. The Voice is now in its 22nd year of publication. Joe was a guest on the show earlier this year. At that time, we discussed what the new year might bring to our community, and today he is back to weigh in on all that has transpired since we last sat down at the mics. And now my conversation with Joe Baylock. Joe Baylock, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Mark. Nice to be back. Third time's the charm, right?
It's going to be the charm, man. And we're going to do this one more time towards the end of the year, and I'm going to bring back 2024 Citizen of the Year, Russ Cohen, to recap the whole year.
With me, yeah.
Absolutely. That's going to be a lot of fun, right? The three of us. But
frickin' frack.
Yeah, and whatever you want to call me. So anyway, I typically open the show up with some fun facts, and I'm going to review the fun facts that I told everybody about in our show back in, I think it was January we got together. You have a love for jazz. You love vinyl records. You have a huge record collection, and you have a big, 600 cases of wine or 600 bottles of wine or something like that.
1,500.
1,500. Yeah, it's double.
Bottles, not cases.
Right, bottles. Yeah, and so a love for wine, obviously, and also you left the Air Force, and this still blows my mind. You left the Air Force Academy after 2 years, correct? But to seek some better technology. You wanted to get into tech, and the Air Force wasn't quite
behind on
right.
tech.
A little bit behind.
Yeah, and I got a little bit behind on eyesight as well.
Right, and
Right.
I know that feeling. So anyway, I reached out to Kathy, your wife, and I said, I need something new and fresh. And so she said, well, Mark, he was a soda jerk in high school back at Friendly's Restaurant in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, correct?
Correct.
A soda jerk.
Well, soda jerk, short order cook, dishwasher.
Yeah.
I even shoveled the driveway if it needed shoveling when I got to work.
Yeah. Teaches your work ethic, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I've been thinking about my first job flipping burgers because next month Mr. FICA will start paying me back, who's been taking money out of my paycheck since I was flipping burgers.
Congratulations.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
That's a nice feeling. Yeah. It really is. Why not?
Why not, right? Yeah. I do have fond thoughts about Friendly's ice cream. And
is it still there if you went back?
That particular one isn't.
Yeah.
But I think Friendly's is still in business in Massachusetts.
So they're kind of a chain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to go to work?
Let's do it.
Okay. I've got quite a few topics to cover today. I thought we would go local, meaning Burlingame, San Mateo County. We can talk about some state issues if we get there. Okay. But let's start off with Burlingame. How do you feel about Burlingame? How do you feel Burlingame is handling some hot topics such as affordable housing, downtown development? I understand they're selling the parking lot across the street from Safeway that's been there for a long, long time, but the city will be selling that parking lot. Transportation and water everywhere, what I learned on my tour. That was the tour you took with the water department, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
You're quoting the title of the blog post.
I thought I should.
That I put up on burlingamevoice.com.
Right.
So
that was a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple months ago. If people want to, while they're sitting here listening to you and I, they could actually pull that up on their screen, burlingamevoice.com, and on the lower right-hand side frame is a water category, and they could click on that.
Right, and it takes you right to it.
I've got an abiding interest in all sorts of infrastructure. Clearly, water's one of them. Transportation, all the things you just listed off.
Right.
They have to all work together.
Mm-hmm.
And when anybody starts pushing one of them without thinking about the ramifications of all the other things, including parking and everything else, then that's when we get into trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Do we have enough police and fire? Do we have enough EMTs? You'll notice they just reopened the fire station over on Rollins.
Which is a good move.
With all the building going on over on Rollins,
yep,
and the frontage road there, I couldn't see how you could do it any other way.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put in a auxiliary library and maybe a school over there eventually because there's so much growth coming this way.
Well, they're going to need land to do that, which
Right.
is one of the troublesome things for me about selling what's known as parking lot H.
That's parking lot H, right?
Right across from Safeway and Walgreens. The city would assert that it's lesser used than some of the other ones, but I think it's, living within 2 blocks of it, I think it gets a decent amount of usage. I think it's also kind of our own little version of a park and ride, because you could park there long term, hop on the bus, right? And so it's not just a parking lot where people pop in, put 2 quarters in the meter, be done in an hour.
It's more of an all-day parking lot.
Yeah, it's for employees on the Avenue and on Howard.
Yeah.
And
even employees of Molly Stone's would go over there and use it.
And so we're giving that up, for housing that we may or may not need in the short term.
Yeah.
Probably be housing. I don't think it could be commercial, but it's actually 2 lots. There's one zone for high density or medium density, and another one's R1. But as we're finding out, single-family R1 zoning doesn't mean anything anymore in California.
And we'll talk about
Pretty much abolished that.
Mr. Weiner, I guess, later.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
State Senator Scott Weiner. Yeah.
The parking lot.
Yeah.
If it's sold, a developer's going to come in and look at it, but he's also going to be looking at 2026 when our scheduled Little Big Dig. Is the Little Big or the Big Little Dig?
Little Big Dig.
That would be the tear up of El Camino, right? The restructuring of El Camino, taking down all the eucalyptus trees, repaving
not
El Camino.
all of them.
Well, quite a few, 300.
91%.
Thank you, 300.
Only 91% are going to get cut.
Right. But then they're going to put the PG&E lines underneath, right?
And phone and cable and everything
new
else.
sidewalks, the whole 9 yards. So I guess if you're buying that parking lot, you might be sitting on it for a while. Or, I don't know.
That is a big question that I raised on the blog post about it. I can envision, we had some experience here because after the big storm, Caltrans took down, a half a dozen eucalyptus?
Right.
And that was, just taking down 6 was a major disruption to traffic throughout
Big time.
town.
And, you're thinking about just taking the tree down, then you got to deal with the stump.
The roots and the stump.
Yeah.
And so by the time this gets posted, it won't be the top post on The Voice anymore. But if you work your way back, listeners, to July 21st, the title is A Cautionary Tale, Caltrans and Guerneville, which I used as a basis of an article in the San Francisco Chronicle over the weekend about how they just updated 4 blocks of the main street in Guerneville.
Really?
That happens to be a state highway, so it was a Caltrans project. State highway goes right through the middle of town. It's their main street, and it's a highway.
It's been a while since I've been to Guerneville.
That took months, months, and the businesses along that route suffered terribly. They ended up having to raise money to keep some of the businesses going, and that's just 4 blocks. We're talking about nearly 3 miles here.
Yeah, pretty much from Millbrae Avenue, or is it Truesdale to West Santa Ynez, I think, is the designated area?
It drifts into San Mateo a little bit. I'm not quite sure the northern terminus, but it's got to be around Truesdale or Easton there. So.
Anyway, it's been backburned till next year.
It slipped, like a lot of other things. It slipped as costs escalate, and as in this case, it's getting some easements from property owners along El Camino.
So, any thoughts on transportation here in Burlingame? Bike lanes, Carmelita. Is it Carmelita that has all the speed bumps? Is that
has fewer speed bumps than it had a couple of months ago?
Great.
They blessed the drivers of the city by taking a couple out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could
imagine they could take a couple more out and not dramatically change anybody's driving behavior.
Right, and that was probably going to be one of the main arteries to California Drive if you were tearing up El Camino.
That'll be one, sure. Oak Grove will be busy. And now we've got poor, sad little California Drive, which has been completely re-architected to accommodate a bike lane.
Yeah.
And the green bollards
Right.
And you'll notice people who know what they're doing park as close to those bollards as they possibly can.
Yeah.
So they don't get sideswiped on California Drive. So I'm really disappointed in how that project turned out. I think it's a lot of change with very little positive. As a bicyclist myself, biking around town, I had plenty of ways to get north-south in Burlingame without a dedicated two-direction bike lane. And I know for a fact that some of the businesses along Broadway in particular feel the same way.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, it's, anytime you make a business harder to get to, it's bad for business.
You go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. You just head for somewhere else.
That's what they found out in Guerneville.
Yeah.
So transportation, I guess we can't touch on transportation without touching on the Broadway intersection.
Which is what also been put on the back burner. It's way too expensive, huh?
It's up to $800 million, I think.
Right.
There's a Broadway link in the categories section.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. That station's still not open.
No,
except
so
on the weekends, right?
We can talk about that for a second.
There's a BurlingameVoice.com post on January 16th of 2025. New cost estimate, same old story. At the beginning of 2024, the project costs were estimated at $325 million. Now, however, Caltrain recently informed the city about significant increases, raising the total to between $500 and $600 million.
I can't see it happening.
It's going to be a tough road to hoe unless some money gets freed up from the state and the feds.
The feds will have to cough up some.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want to talk about the water?
Sure.
You did that great 2-hour, they took you on a little 2-hour tour? How did you do that? Did you just call them up and say, I'm interested in what's going on around with all the water in Burlingame or Hetch Hetchy or Crystal Springs?
I basically called them up and said, I'd love to get a tour of the facilities.
Who did you call?
I probably started with city manager Lisa Goldman.
Right, and she pointed you in the direction.
She pointed me to the water department head and his main assistant. So I had two water department guys, and there's a couple of really important things here. First, water itself is important, right? And did this all come on after the fires in Los Angeles? That's what this was all about, right? Well, I've been interested in water for a long time, but yes, when the wildfires hit Pasadena or Pacific Palisades and Altadena, it cued off in my mind again whether or not we were prepared for something similar here in Burlingame and Hillsborough in particular, right? Because Hillsborough is heavily forested, and you don't have to drive around very far to realize it's not being being treated along the lines of what defensible space calls for.
Yeah, it could come raging through.
Which I'm pretty familiar with because I'm also a homeowner in Lake Tahoe, and our homeowners association spends a lot of time and a lot of money building defensible space around our units. So the wildfires kicked it off, particularly Mills Canyon, right? And particularly there's a couple of big plots in Hillsborough that are heavily forested, and all you need is a lightning strike or an arsonist and the wind blowing in the right direction at the right speed, and it could happen here, right? You can't discount that possibility.
Right.
So that got me thinking, just how ready are we?
Yep.
Not to mention the whole situation when we have a 2, 3, 4, 5-year drought and we start to go into drought restrictions again. So unfortunately, we don't have video today, Mark, so viewers can't see my Aloha shirt, nor can they see the fact that I brought the 2.5-inch thick Burlingame Urban Water Management Plan document with me.
That's quite a book, yes.
And that's 5 years old now.
It's like the old telephone books. It's that thick, maybe thicker.
Maybe thicker, yeah. And it's full size with the pull-out charts and slides and whatnot. So I purchased a copy of that when it was done 5 years ago. I went through it in detail and gave the city council some detailed comments. And now it's up for revision every 5 years. That's the mandate for how frequently it needs to be revised. So hopefully some of my comments from 5 years ago will be incorporated. But, if we have, when we have the next drought, this will this issue will rise itself again, right? The old saying is, you never know the price or the value of water until the well runs dry.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, the tour was really interesting, really well done. These guys are longtime water department employees. They know their stuff. And we started at the corp yards and took a look at some of the support systems that run the water department.
Where is the corporation yard?
It's over. It's a block west of Rollins. I forget the name of that street.
Okay.
It's where a lot of the car shops are, and other light industrial. Beautiful facility. Modern, has an ability to have a couple of employees sleep there if things get really gnarly. And a lot of the monitoring sensor data, all of it lands there, and that's how they keep managing the flow of water through the city. So if you think about it, it's intuitively obvious that the water system goes everywhere, right? Because we all have water, but you don't really realize how much infrastructure it takes to make that happen, particularly over the time that Burlingame, as a fairly old city, grew further and further up into the hills until it got all the way to the other side of Skyline Boulevard. So the reservoirs and the water tanks are sprinkled throughout the city. As each new phase of development happened, they had to provide water further and further up the city. Early housing up halfway up the hill was done off well water, and city water moved its way up. So now you're talking about tanks, reservoirs, pumps, the interlocking flow control and filters, and all of the sensor data to keep it all together.
Right.
So it's really, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised at how.
Because you don't think about it. You don't think about it till you see it and go through it.
But one of the takeaways from that city urban water management plan document is, if we do hit a 5-year drought, we haven't really assessed what the impact of that's going to be on water availability for anybody who's on our water system. Right, there's a chart in there that really needs a hard look at in the update, and because it's got rose-colored glasses on it, in my opinion. So, the other thing, going back to wildfire, is it became obvious to me that if we really needed a lot of water, like in Mills Canyon or coming down off of the Hillsborough border around the Country Club, we're probably not in a position to get it strictly from the fire hydrants, right?
So
the
that
fire
means
hydrant's designed to put out a fire in a structure with 1 or 2 trucks.
But there's plenty of water up at Crystal Springs, isn't there?
Well, that's not material because you can't get to it. You got it would have to flow through to our reservoir system.
Okay.
To get to the hydrant, from Crystal Springs Reservoir to the hydrant is a multi-step process.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're saying, though, is if we had a big fire, you don't feel that the hydrants would be sufficient enough, or what?
If we had a big wildfire.
Interesting.
Like in downtown, no problem. Right? We had the chicken fire.
I remember that, yeah.
And wasn't there one in the hotel that's above what's now Sephora?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And apparently there was one back in the early 90s, which I don't remember at all, but next to Copenhagen.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
Yeah. So, and those had plenty of water pressure, right? Yeah. But being a fan of Maui and Lahaina in particular, what happened in Lahaina and what happened in Altadena, and actually, let's not forget the Oakland Hills.
Oh yeah,
same thing, right? It's a concern, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't think anybody knows what to do about it.
But we have plenty of water. The water's not the issue. It's how the water gets to the fire. Is that the issue, or what? Explain that to me a little bit.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they're 12-inch water mains. You can't.
It's only so much you can gush through there.
And then it throttles down and it throttles down and it throttles down
right.
until it gets to your house, where it's a 2.5-inch water lateral, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, Joe, you didn't bring me a lot of good news on that then, did you? I thought with water everywhere, right? Okay.
Yeah. And plenty of drops to drink, but
boy, okay.
Let's we have. It's like any other natural disaster that we could be faced with, right?
Absolutely.
The 7.5 or the 7.7 or the 8.0 earthquake.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Right. You got to be prepared. Right, and if listeners aren't familiar with the Burlingame Neighborhood Network and the disaster preparedness and the communication systems that great group operates, they should get familiar with it, and they should have water reserves. I think during the last drought, the state came out and said you should have 5 weeks worth of water stored.
My goodness.
It was a lot of water. It was more water than anybody's got stored.
Right, yeah.
Right. And I went and bought the 50-gallon drum and put the preservative tablets in it.
Did you?
Yeah. So I can.
Good for you.
I got the first 50 gallons covered. After that, I don't know what happens.
We're coming to your house, buddy. Okay. Yeah.
Then we start drinking wine.
Yeah. You have plenty of that. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it was a good tour, though.
Fabulous
tour. And you learned a lot from
Very
that.
good tour. I was pleased to hear that every sitting council member is also taking the same tour.
All right, let's talk about the Bayfront for a minute. What's happening out there? Things are going to be happening out there. I just don't know if I think life science is sort of designated to be out there from Max's Restaurant heading north past the Hyatt Cinema, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think it's happening for a while, and I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. There's certainly developer demand to build over there. I was just over there. I went over to a great little restaurant, the New England Lobster Market.
Great spot, yep, great spot.
Love that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Went over and had a 3-pound lobster.
Yeah, it's amazing, huh?
And driving over there, I realized that the latest 2 new buildings are basically complete. So there's a lot of new commercial space over there already. And
commercial space available. Do you think anybody's moved in or designated to move in?
I have no idea.
Because we have a lot of commercial space in Burlingame, but I don't know how much is...
A lot of commercial space in the whole Bay Area that's particularly
available.
San Francisco that's available.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sure it's going to get built out, but in keeping with my, let's keep the horse in front of the cart, I'm hoping there's enough water, enough electrical grid capacity, enough sewer treatment, enough police and fire to support all of this.
To handle all of that growth. Yeah.
It's a multifaceted logistical problem.
Yeah. Let's move to Broadway for a minute.
Sure.
Let's go to downtown Broadway, okay, and the merchants and all of that kind of stuff and their issues, right? And by the way, it's a shame to see. It's going to happen whenever you rent. I mean, that's the risk. Que sera, sera. The nice little juice place in Cafe Cappuccino, which has been on at Cappuccino Avenue for 31 years. They both got notice that their leases are up and they have to vacate by August. Happened twice to my family, so I know the grief they're going through. Great people. But that's the downside of renting. You know what I mean? And that's what happens.
Not owning the building.
Not owning the building, right. Which is too bad. But anyway.
Change is ever present.
Isn't it though? Isn't that the truth? Yeah, that's the truth.
And I guess on the bright side, since we haven't had too many bright sides so far, on the bright side, if you walk Burlingame Avenue and you walk Broadway, our fill factor is pretty good.
Yeah, right? As far as rentals, you mean,
or as far as businesses,
you're not seeing a lot of.
There's not a lot of empty spaces.
Yeah.
My old buddy William Warmbow is closing up his antique shop, not because he lost his lease or anything. He's just gonna.
Where is that? The one that you're talking about?
It's on towards the El Camino side, on the south side of Broadway.
Okay.
If you didn't know it was there, you might not see it.
Right.
So, and he's been there a long time. Very, very excellent antique dealer.
Yeah.
And so he's going to just do shows and not have a retail space. Good time in his life to do that.
Yeah, why not?
As he told me.
Yeah, there's some vacancy, but they seem to get taken quickly on the Avenue and Broadway as well.
And we picked up a bookstore finally again.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I was into Books on B.
Yep.
Which is now Books on B Game Avenue instead of bricks on
kinda
B
worked,
Street.
right?
It worked, yeah.
And I met the owner, went in and introduced myself.
Yeah,
and
same here.
I think we're going to have a chat here in another few weeks. So,
Excellent.
Which is great, right? So anyway, I guess one of the issues about Broadway and talking to some of the merchants down there is they're hoping that maybe the Broadway train station could be reopened for 7-day-a-week service, okay? Right now it's weekends only. And I think even that is kind of minimal. It's not every hour on the hour, right? Limited service. So,
oddly enough, I spent a lot of time on Broadway.
Yeah.
It's a good source of used vinyl at the two thrift stores that are up there.
Oh,
and so I'm up there.
Treasure Paws is terrific.
Yeah, I love Treasure Paws.
Yeah.
I'm a volunteer there to help them with their vinyl sales.
Great.
And I was up on Monday, and the train stopped at the Broadway station for a good solid 3 or 4 minutes.
On a Monday?
On a Monday.
I wonder what that was about.
I don't know.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of things that we ask ourselves, what's up with that?
What's up with that?
So I think they have quite a long haul to get more service there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I've been told. Okay, it's been closed for 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. One of the merchants told me that, when it was open, people would go up and down the avenue, you buy a donut, you buy a coffee, blah, 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 right? We all know that. One of the issues with it, opening it up for 7 days a week, there's some kind of ordinance or law that if that happens, then developers are able to come in and purchase some of the land around that and build high-density housing. Is that true?
I believe that is the case.
Okay. So my question is, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with more people in town? That would help the businesses on Broadway, wouldn't it? That's kind of a given?
No.
Okay. No?
It's a multifaceted logistical challenge, right?
Okay, well, what does that mean?
If you put in high density, it never has the same parking ratios as medium density or low density. Mm-hmm. The theory being behind these laws and ordinances, of which another one is in the works in Sacramento that's even more egregious than the ones we've got now, is people will live there and not own a car. Right? They'll take the train, they'll take the bus, they'll take Waymo.
That's what the hope is, correct?
It's a little more than a hope. It becomes a mandate.
Okay.
Right? Because if there's no place to park, how do you do this?
Okay.
Right? So
I just think I asked my wife about that. My Kathy, you have a Kathy, I got a Kathy. I said, "What do you think the issue is there?" And she says, "Do you want it to look like San Carlos and Redwood City? It's a big wall of condominiums and stuff as you drive down El Camino," and it is. But there's a lot of people living in those things, and they bring business to the town. I feel anyway.
They bring business and they bring expense.
Yeah,
it's both, right? They need school seats and they need police and fire protection, and they need parking, and they need electricity, and they need water, and they need everything, right? I just think the nobody has a car life model is unrealistic, right? Think back to your days at Molly Stone's. What was the average number of grocery bags that people walked out with?
Oh, gosh, I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
It's at least 2 or 3.
2 or 3, right.
Yeah. The heavy shoppers are 2, 3, maybe 4. Sometimes I pack 4.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You call up a Waymo or an Uber and every time you need to go to the grocery store? Yeah. And then what? Truck it up 7 flights of elevator? And,
right.
That's a lifestyle that a lot of people want, and it's suitable in the city, and I guess it's de facto in Redwood City these days, but it like your Kathy says, it feels different, and it doesn't feel very much like Burlingame. Yeah.
Well, okay. I think
you need parks.
Yeah.
Park space.
Yeah.
I now have 2 dogs. I'm a little fuzzy because I have puppy brain for the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But you need backyards for kids and dogs. You need parks for kids and dogs.
I just think it'd be a big boost. Well, let me ask you this. If you were mayor here in Burlingame or city manager, whoever's going to make some decisions here, what would you do for Broadway? What would you do?
I would first figure out if there's a problem.
Well,
Is there a problem? I don't know.
To some of the merchants, there appears to be a problem. They don't feel they get enough traffic. I mean, I go down to Broadway too enough, and you compare the foot traffic to Broadway to Burlingame Ave, there's a big...
Two different things.
Right.
Totally. Because there's not the office space. It's residential on both sides of Broadway, right?
Yeah, it's
for blocks,
right.
blocks and blocks and blocks. There's not there's no library. There's no the big building just down the street from the library,
right?
And
we're getting a town square pretty soon.
Getting a town square with another office building. So there's foot traffic,
most of the people around Broadway go to work, then they come home right at 5 o'clock at night. They're not walking up and down the streets.
Well, I know a lot of people walk to Broadway for dinner afterward.
That's what I was told.
And it rolls up about 8:30 or 9.
Right. It's very quiet till about 4 in the afternoon, and then people come to the restaurants because they got some great restaurants on Broadway.
So, is that a matter of a mix of businesses that are there, not drawing in daytime traffic? Maybe. If I was in city government, I would limit my natural desire to socially engineer things, right?
Okay.
Let the market speak.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's a shame about Cafe Cappuccino and Que Sera Sera.
Right.
But we don't know what's going to replace it and how popular it will be.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Broadway Grill, beautiful reuse of an old bank building and an active scene. And we could get a few more. There was another front being completely remodeled as I walked down it 2 days ago on Broadway, on the south side. They took the fascia off and they're reworking the whole thing.
Great.
So there's a restorative aspect to this, right? When somebody new moves in, they invest in the property, whether they own it or not.
Okay.
Right. So.
All right, I'll give you that for now. Yeah. All right.
It's a balance.
It's a balance.
Should we put no new building up there, no new residential? Probably. That's not realistic. But, I mean, we just did the ones on California Drive, Anson Apartments.
Yes,
and
correct.
The ones around the backside on the other side of the North Park Apartments. That's a lot of new.
It's a lot of growth over there.
A lot of new residential growth. And, if that hasn't generated more foot traffic on Broadway, I don't know what will. All right? Try not to repeat the same thing and expect different results.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on.
All right.
Thank you.
You're the boss.
City Hall. City Hall is moving from its present location over to Chapin Avenue, just around the corner, into the Compass Building, I think it was, or it is. So that's going to be happening, I believe, this fall? Or is it in the spring? Or it's coming soon, right?
Yes. It's moving around the corner to initially lease space and then right to purchase, requirement to purchase.
Yeah.
Again, I as a guy who asks a lot of questions and oftentimes can get an answer, I did dig into the physical structures, limitations in the old City Hall, and it's pretty substantial.
It's time for a change.
There's a lot of things broken.
Either you're going to try and fix it, remodel it, or you're going to tear it down and build a new one. But if you can get a building that's a lot better, right?
Well, yes. I'm not the only person paying close attention in town, and I've talked to a couple of others who seem to feel that the building they're moving into is almost as old as City Hall.
I thought it's old, but I thought they did some homework on it, and it's a young old. Okay?
It's better. Yes.
It's in good shape.
Right.
And there's underground parking.
There is underground parking.
Yeah.
And as there is in the old City Hall, a little bit more actually. I think
right.
I walked down there asking that same question.
Yeah.
And there's quite a bit of parking down there.
And apparently everybody will get their own office, like the city attorney sharing his office with somebody else. Yeah. So all that'll kind of go away. Yep. So what do you think will go in the place of City Hall? They own that, right? They own that property?
City owns the property.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
From years and years.
I mean, they could put a cute little park in there, but a park won't generate any money, right?
Right. I mean, if it were me again and I had a magic wand, I'd much rather see them sell that lot than sell parking lot H on El Camino.
And we're going to go to your quote. What did Rosalie O'Mahony say What was her famous saying?
Her famous saying was, and I'll sort of imitate her.
You're going to get the voice?
Her voice a little bit, too, because I listened to Rosalie for a long time while I was a frequent attendee in city council meetings. She says, "You never sell schools or parking lots."
Yeah, and that was good because I think Burlingame learned their lesson when they sold Hoover. Was it Hoover up on Easton?
Sold it and then had to buy it back.
They had to buy it back because there was growth, right? We needed another school.
Yeah. And we've got more growth, right? McKinley, if you've driven around McKinley lately, there's a couple more classrooms for transitional kindergarten going in.
I didn't know that.
So, more classrooms, less playground space.
Yeah.
It's just like Washington School.
Right.
And it's an intertwined logistical challenge, right?
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I talked to Mayor Peter Stevenson, a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I was just sounding off with a few things, and I told him, I want to see a parade in Burlingame. What's it going to? He goes, we got a pet parade. I go, I don't care about. That's great. We have a pet parade. I have pets. I have a dog. I'm all for the pet parade, but I want to see a real parade. Hillsborough, our neighboring city, has a wonderful parade on Memorial Day. You know that, right? You did a column on it.
I go every year.
Right, it's terrific.
I bike over there.
Right, it's terrific.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe a few too many politicians.
Yeah.
The rest of it's fabulous.
It's wonderful.
And the BHS band plays. Unless you go into football games or basketball games,
you don't see the BHS band, and they're terrific.
They're terrific, and they. I marched in the high school marching band, and back when I was flipping burgers.
If there's one thing I miss about Cameron not playing football, high school football, that's my youngest son, it was the Friday night lights with the band. You had to love it, man, okay?
I still love it, right?
I figured the Burlingame Marching Band would come down the avenue. You could have the Rotary Club, you could have the Lions Club, the Women's Club, all sorts of organizations would join in and march the streets, right?
Yeah, you could do the 4th of July.
Right, you could do Labor Day, you could do Veterans Day. You could even not have a holiday. You just pick a weekend, right? But I think that kind of gives that small town feeling to where we come up with Burlingame. It's a small town, right? Because with all this growth, how do you maintain that comfy little feel?
Right.
Yeah. So you good with it?
I'm good with it. And the holiday parade is great. It's just a different feel when it gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, big time.
Right. So I would want to do it midsummer.
Wouldn't you, though?
It's light till 9 o'clock.
Yeah. See, to me, it would be the obvious one would be the 4th of July. Be fantastic.
Well, my little town that I grew up in has a nationally famous 4th of July parade every year.
Really?
It gets broadcast on national TV some years.
What town was that be?
Pittsfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah. Were you with the soda jerk?
Or I was the soda
at
jerk. At
Friendly's.
Burger flipper at Friendly's. They have a huge 4th of July parade. All the vintage fire engines come in from the surrounding towns in the hills. They do what's called a fireman's muster, which is essentially lighting the structure on fire and seeing how quickly each team can put it out.
Oh, that's great.
So there could be so many fun things with a parade as a basis. You know what else I'd like to see come back is the Lions Club car show in Washington Park.
Yeah, and Russ Cohen, our buddy, had a big thing. He was very involved in that, I believe, for a few years. Getting entrance and
certainly did the flyers,
organizing the flyers. Yeah. So before we move off from the parade and get to San Mateo County, we're going to take a little break because we're over a half hour into this thing, and we've still got lots more to go.
Lots of questions on your side. So
you ready to take a break?
Sure.
Okay. While we take this break, I want to thank everybody for listening to my show, Burlingame, It's a Small Town Podcast, sponsored by the Burlingame Historical Society. If you have any comments or suggestions, you know how to get a hold of me. But while you're listening, hit that subscribe button. I'm not monetized. I don't wish to be monetized. There's no advertising, but there is strength in numbers when you hit that subscribe button. So Joe will take a break.
And when you do start getting monetized, I'll take a cut. Thank you.
You got it. We'll be right back. Joe, I think I hit the right button so we can continue. It's always good to make sure you're hitting the record button when you do these things, not the stop button, okay?
Indeed.
Yeah, so I think we're back on the air. We'll find out when it's over, right? Anyway, let's move to San Mateo County. And I think the hottest topic in San Mateo County is obviously Sheriff Christina Corpus and her pending removal from her position, right? What was it, a few months ago, we had Measure A? So the supervisor, we had to go to the polls, vote so the supervisors could remove her, correct?
I don't remember the letter, but it was a measure that went to the electorate. It passed overwhelmingly,
right?
Like 80% yes.
What I don't understand is, because now we're still going through all of the process. Now it's just been one thing after another. Why didn't we just have a recall? And if it was a recall, could she have been removed immediately?
Yes.
Why didn't we have a recall? Why did we have a Measure A or Measure M or whatever it was?
Well, somebody's got to organize a recall, and you got to collect enough signatures to get it to qualify for a ballot, which takes money. And hold that thought on money, because this is all
so it's not as easy as it was to put Measure whatever on the ballot?
Correct.
So you have to jump through.
All the supervisors had to do was vote to put it on the ballot, and it went on the ballot.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas a recall,
there's a lot more to it.
You remember there'd be people standing out in front of Molly Stones with clipboards getting you to sign petitions for this or that. It'd be similar to that.
Okay.
So that passed, but that didn't give them free and clear right to just remove her then and there.
Yeah.
And the whole thing has devolved into a series of back and forth accusations and back and forth lawsuits.
And she filed another one yesterday or something, another lawsuit?
Well, I only read the headline before I walked over to the library here, and she apparently filed it in federal court, which is interesting. Not totally sure how this rises to the level of a federal issue, but so to me, the most interesting two things about recent occurrences here are all of the filings from her side and her lawyers have been sealed from public view. And I don't know if they forgot to check that box or if they intended to file the latest filings unsealed. So all of a sudden, a lot of these details have come into the public realm. And the newspapers are reporting on them. I've got a couple of posts on BurlingameVoice.com that, it's pretty much every other day I find something in some news source that updates the progress on
It's a hot topic.
Yeah, it's messy.
Yeah.
Some of the things that have been said, some of the things that have been done, if they're true, it's really messy.
Yeah.
So, but the most upsetting part of the whole thing is we, the taxpayers, are paying for both sides of this legal fight.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All of her legal expenses are being paid by the
taxpayers.
Right. I don't know if she's really got any out-of-pocket expense or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know
something. But apparently, and I just got this written down, she is one count of conflict of interest for the hiring and supervision of Victor. I don't know how to say his last name. Anil or whatever. Victor.
Anil.
Okay.
Yeah, Victor.
Yeah. Her former chief of staff, with whom she allegedly had a romantic relationship with. Other allegations include 3 counts of retaliation, including the firing of former Assistant Sheriff Ryan Monahan, the transfer of former Captain Brian Phillip, and the arrest of Deputy Carlos Tapia, the president of the Deputy Sheriff Association and a key whistleblower against Corpus's administration. Now,
for time card fraud.
That's right.
Which was found to not have merit and dropped.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I haven't followed it that closely. I got a little information from a friend or two that had been on the sheriff's department, right? But it's a pretty deep story, and I don't think it's going to go away anytime too soon. I think we chatted about this back in January. As a matter
probably
of fact.
Started back then,
yeah.
Right? I have 3 or 4 different posts, each with, I put the comments against the post whenever it shows up.
Yeah.
And the latest one was Monday. The Daily Post, not the Daily Journal, but the Daily Post's editor, Dave Price, has a column every Monday, and he's watching all this like a hawk. The guy is really well informed.
So it comes out on Mondays in the Post?
In the Post, in the hard copy Post.
Yeah.
And his column on Monday said that during the latest court appearance by the sheriff and her lawyers and some supporters, when they were done, they got up and walked out the judge's back door of the courtroom instead of out the front door where the press was.
And that wasn't cool.
That is not cool with judges. That is not cool with judges.
Well, that was a pretty ballsy move.
It's there's a whole series of ballsy moves.
Yeah.
It's like a bowling alley.
I really don't know how she can do her job adequately when all this is going on, though. Do you know what I mean?
Having managed a fairly large organization, meaning almost 300 people,
right?
This kind of thing can be a huge distraction.
Big distraction, right? I mean,
big distraction.
She must be getting texts and emails from her attorneys, et cetera, or phone calls or whatever. Yeah.
Court appearances, all sorts of things. Now, fortunately, from what I can see, the public safety delivered by the sheriff's department hasn't had any major issues.
Right.
But a lot of early retirements, some quitting, some being put on administrative leave by her. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's probably a layer of, shall we say, management above the police cruiser level.
Right.
That is...
Yeah, I think I read, was it just a couple of days ago, maybe it was last week, time goes by so fast, that Sergeant Joe Fava, I guess his name, he's been put on administrative leave for something. Now, I don't know if that's part of her retaliation. I have no idea. Yeah. It's deep.
It's deep.
Yeah. So.
But, now that some of the details have come out about things that were said in text and things that were said and overheard and the like, I mean, it's not good. It's not good.
From what I'm hearing is that Victor had her ear, okay? Victor, her chief of staff, had her ear, okay? And maybe he was kind of...
Well, your chief of staff should have your ear.
True, but right? So much, or maybe you're changing your mind on everything, or what?
Well, the question is, did you, and this applies to any executive, did you choose a chief of staff who's qualified to advise you on the issues of your job?
Yeah.
And he didn't have any law enforcement experience to speak of. He had like volunteer type law enforcement.
Correct. So is she getting some...
It's the biggest department in the county.
Yeah.
It was, at least it was, I think 675 people.
And she makes big money.
I don't know what her salary is.
$500,000.
Can't be bad. Yeah.
$500,000.
It's got to be good. Right.
Good for her. Okay, but I'm just saying,
if that's what it pays. That's what it pays.
Yeah.
I could.
But, he had her ear and she changed her mind on a few things, and that started to rub people the wrong way, and people started to notice things, and all of a sudden he's more than just the chief of staff.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
People are getting badges that another sheriff might not have issued.
Somebody doesn't get a promotion, and they should have gotten a promotion. Yeah. So, anyway. Anything else in San Mateo County you want to go over? We can leave the sheriff behind.
The county supervisors are mulling over whether or not San Mateo County should participate in this transit tax to try and raise the sales tax rate again to fund Caltrain and Samtrans and BART.
So that would take it over 10%?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And at least in some cities, because there's some city add-ons. And it was a great letter to the editor by two people from Redwood City that I don't know in the Daily Journal that I posted as a comment, and they go through chapter and verse about why this is a bad idea.
So what's the alternative? If they don't raise the sales tax, where's the money going to come from?
They're going to have to cut back service and raise passenger rates. And even that, I'm not even sure that's enough.
Yeah.
But, getting expensive leases on brand new office space might be a way to save some money. Mm-hmm. A little late for that since it's already been done. But that would have been one thing that you could do.
Yeah.
And I'm not a bus user. I've probably been on Samtrans bus 5 times in 30 years.
Since you've been out here?
Yeah. Caltrain I use more, but the buses I don't. And I understand there's all sorts of, you see them all over the place. There's bus routes that go to places that, the argument would be you need that to help the residents in far-flung parts of the county. But man, if you're running a whole bus route out over 92 to the coast and you got 5, 10, 20 people a day riding it.
Costly.
It's costly, right?
Even the trains haven't reached, well, because there's nothing going on in the city, right? You're not going to work. Right. So, yeah.
So, and the last time, what was our last episode, 103?
Yeah.
We talked about not just the cost of housing, but the total cost of existing here. And that, a sales tax hits pretty much everything but food, right?
Right.
It's
hot food attack.
Hot food.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You just start tacking 1.5% here, 1.5% there, 1.5% there, and everybody goes, well, how are we going to protect the middle class and make them be able to afford to live here? That ain't the way.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, that ain't the way.
Yeah.
And we do now have Uber and Lyft and Waymo.
Waymo came to Burlingame.
Waymo's in Burlingame. I haven't taken it yet, but
Either
it's here.
I can't wait to.
Yeah. If I need to go somewhere that it covers, I'll get in a driverless car.
Absolutely, man. So, yeah.
I know people who've done it, and it's pretty freaky.
Yeah. Well, I bet it is, right?
Yeah.
But it seems to be pretty successful.
Yeah. I'll give you one anecdote because I saw it in the city. We were driving through the city on a busy intersection. Excuse me. And I think the Waymo shift must have changed over, because on the cross street there was 6 empty Waymos in a row heading towards downtown San Francisco, right? And the traffic was backed up. And traffic
6 empty ones, like in a little parade?
Yeah, getting ready to go out and spread out through the city. And a lot of the drivers in the city have figured out that the Waymo cars are super conservative drivers.
Uh-huh.
They follow everything to the T. So they would think nothing of cutting off the Waymos to get into that lane. And I sat there, we sat through like 3 red lights because the Waymos couldn't move, because everybody's just saying, I'm just going to cut the Waymo off. Cut the Waymo off, right?
Because the Waymo's not going to move. He's a conservative driver, right?
Yeah. I mean, remember the early days, the anti-Waymo activists would put a traffic cone in front of it. And it didn't know what to do. Right. It stopped.
That is
cool. And it would still probably stop
if
you did that. So anyway, we need another tax like we need a hole in the head.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's just
we're in a very heavy regulated state, overtaxed state as it is, and that's where we're moving next, to the state of California. Okay? Because we got a lot going on in this state, but we're going to just talk about a couple of little items. Let's talk about Newsom and Scott Wiener.
Okay.
Who aren't crazy about single-dwelling housing, is that correct?
Single family residential zoning and housing.
They're more
known
into
as R1 housing.
Right. They're more into high-density housing.
As far as I can tell, they want to build it as high and as dense as they can possibly do. Because
that would be cheaper than homes, or what? Tell me what the breakdown is here. Tell me a little bit about it, or what you know.
Yeah, on a per unit basis, because it takes up less real estate than a real single family home with a backyard and a driveway.
But it is an opportunity for somebody to buy something because it would be more affordable, wouldn't it?
It might be, depending on how it was developed.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there are 3-bedroom condos in Burlingame for sale right now that are $1.6 million.
Yeah.
Right? That's the high end of a really tricked out structure. So a lot of these have so-called market rate units, and then a sliver or a slice of affordable, meaning subsidized housing.
Yeah. $1.6 million doesn't sound inexpensive to me. It sounds expensive.
That was my point. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure.
Right. So you said it's going to be easier for people to buy.
Not necessarily.
Depends on how it was built and furnished and everything else.
Yeah.
So, and that's all well and good. We need a certain amount of high density housing in certain places. But the idea that they could pass a law that would allow developers to put it anywhere, and the latest one is anywhere within a half a mile of any transit stop.
And that was part of the issue with Broadway. Okay.
Yeah, the train station, right.
Correct.
Right. Back then it was less than a half a mile, I think. But
Okay.
the latest one, is it Senate Bill 79?
That's correct.
Says anything within a half mile. So all these bus stops on El Camino in Burlingame, imagine going a half mile towards the hills and a half mile towards the downtowns and being able to build high-density housing anyway.
That developer has to come in and buy it up, though, doesn't he, to do that?
Sure.
Right.
Sure. But if you can buy, let's say you're buying one of the fixer-uppers that still lives on in Burlingame for 1.8, and you can jam 15 or 20 units onto it by going up, they're going to do it. There's money to be made there. But it's totally disrespectful to the neighborhood and the neighbors, particularly the ones on either side, right? You've spent your whole life working up to being able to build a nice house, buy a nice house with a little bit of a yard and a lawn and some off-street parking, and all of a sudden you've got super high density right next to you. It's very corrosive to the community values.
I suppose that could happen at parking lot H, across the street from Safeway. That could happen.
Well, if it can get medium density now, right? And if this latest foray passes, then I guess they could go to high density.
So medium is about 5 levels or 4 levels or what?
I think it's three or four.
Yeah. Before
Don't hold me to that.
Yeah.
It's in the staff report.
Okay.
Right? We can look it up if we wanted to. Right. So that's one example, right? But that's on El Camino.
Yeah.
Okay. That's already pretty much all multifamily. In fact, I think if there's one single family residence left on El Camino, I don't know where it is.
Right.
But imagine a half a mile into the neighborhoods.
That's.
You're talking about. I didn't do the math here on Google Maps, but you're talking about basically all the way up to like Roosevelt School in Vancouver is probably about a half a mile. We're talking 5, 6, 7 blocks deep into residential neighborhoods. Those skin off Scott Wiener's nose, right? He's already living up in the city in a different place. And the worst part is it's not going to solve the problem. It's okay. So you build a bunch of this stuff. You disrupt a bunch of neighborhoods. Do you really think it's going to drive down housing prices in any noticeable way? Come on, it's a joke.
So is that where we got NIMBY? Not in my backyard.
That's NIMBY. They would call that thinking NIMBY thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I have no problems with. We talked about this the last time.
I know, and I love it.
I got no problem.
It's always good to rehash it.
Yeah.
Come back and refresh.
Did you remember the opposite side, YIMBY?
Help me.
Yes, in my backyard.
Oh, that's
right. Except it's a bunch of people who don't actually have a backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, in your backyard is what it really should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to visit Train to Nowhere because we talked about that at the beginning of the year, and you know what? It's still the Train to Nowhere. Okay, that whatever it is, the high-speed rail.
We don't even have track yet on
high-speed rail.
Yep.
Yeah, and the president just pulled $4 billion from the project.
Sean Duffy, Secretary of Department of Transportation, pulled $4 billion. If it's still a little early in the afternoon, but if you and I were sitting here doing this over cocktails, I'd raise a glass and a toast to Sean Duffy.
Yeah, I mean,
this is.
I have my
atrocious.
issues with the present administration, but I don't have an issue with this one, okay? So the question is, so why doesn't Newsom just kill it? But before you answer that question, let me give you a couple of answers why he doesn't kill it, okay?
Yep.
All right. The project provides thousands of union jobs, okay? Lots of, 17 or 18,000 jobs it's created.
That's the claim, right?
Well, I guess we could fact check it.
I mean,
but
it's.
Just roll with it for a minute.
Some of them were probably 6 month long, and they're counting that. It's not 18,000 continuous jobs.
Correct.
Think,
okay,
right.
And it could grow from there. Future phases would create more jobs, apparently. Okay. It connects the Central Valley allegedly, or hopefully it would connect the Central Valley to major coastal cities, stimulate business growth, raise property values, and provide greater access to jobs and education for inland communities. Now, these are some of the pros, right? This is just, this is why we should build it.
If we had video on this episode, you'd see Mark smiling. And me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And future-proofing California. Population growth will continue. HSR provides the future infrastructure for mass movement of people. Blah, 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 blah. We can go on and on, okay? But the thing is, the price tag has gotten way out of hand now, and so has the deadline, right? Probably I think it's supposed to be completed somewhere in 2032 or 33, something like that, 2033, 2030, whatever.
You mean the new slip deadline?
Yes.
There's no fixed budget for the whole thing.
It's gone from 33 billion and now it's over 100 billion.
120, 130 billion. But that's just a finger in the air, right? That's a wet finger in the air to check the wind.
So, yeah.
They have no idea.
And then, people are wondering, will Californians really give up their cars for, you know what I mean? Are they going to take the train?
The competition is not your car necessarily. The competition is the airlines.
The airlines, and are they going to give up an airline? I don't know. Right?
Right. Why would you? Just to get to L.A.?
Yeah.
And then you need local transportation? There's on BurlingameVoice.com, as of July 9th, 2025, there are 164 blog posts about how crazy this train is.
Yeah.
And the latest one being that the newest CEO of the High-Speed Rail Authority thinks that they're going to find some private financing to help defray the $130 billion.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
It means somebody other than the government and the taxpayers are
going to pony up money to have this thing finished, right? And get some kind of return on their investment.
Yeah, that's the question, right? You'd have to be.
You have to be very daring to do something like that.
I'll be stunned if they get even a couple of billion from anybody in private equity. Yeah.
I understand, and I didn't know this, and I don't know. I'm just going to throw this out there. If Newsom was to stop this, he could, the state may have to pay back what they've borrowed from the feds.
They may have to pay back even if he doesn't stop it.
Oh,
we'll see.
Yeah,
it depends on how some of those grants were written and what they might do with it.
Yeah.
So if you're watching it closely, it's mind-bogglingly late and expensive and not particularly green either, right? Those 18,000 jobs are construction jobs. All that equipment is emitting greenhouse gases that will never, ever be recouped by automobile trips that are avoided, right? Especially if you believe the whole electric vehicle movement. You'll be able to drive to LA without any emissions.
Correct.
Right? So, it's very disappointing. I think Newsom in his heart of hearts knows this is never going to happen.
Yeah.
And he's been given the perfect opportunity to blame it on the feds. Mm-hmm. And so far, it doesn't appear that he's going to take it. Yeah,
it's a lot of folks say, cut your loss now and take that money that you have and invest it in something else.
Yeah, invest it in Metropolitan Rail. We talked about the transit tax, right? Mm-hmm. You could take tiny slivers of the high-speed rail budget and eliminate the need for that tax, prop up Caltrain, prop up BART, do the Broadway grade separation. You could fix El Camino. We didn't even get to that, right? Mm-hmm. It's a state highway that looks like it's a side road in a third world country.
Some of that funding could go to the Broadway grade separate. Right. You know what I mean?
$800 million to the High Speed Rail Authority is a drop in the bucket.
And keep people working too.
Yeah. I'm not too concerned that the heavy construction trades have a lack of work.
Yeah.
I won't tell you who the business was, but it was in the construction business of a sort, who I just happened to ask for a quote, and the guy told me just this morning, we got tons of business. We're
that's good to hear.
We're good. Yeah, we're
that's good to hear.
Right.
Yeah. So. Okay, I got a couple more things for you.
Okay.
I read today that the that In-N-Out is leaving California.
The headquarters, yeah.
Yeah. They've been here since, I think the guy opened his first hamburger spot in 1948. That's the year I was born. Okay, so that was like 76 years ago, right? They're leaving California, and I think they're heading for Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah.
And I didn't know. My son works for Schwab, and I didn't realize that Schwab's down in Texas now.
Schwab left, yeah.
Yeah, and Chevron.
Chevron left. Hewlett-Packard left. Tesla left.
SpaceX, whatever that's Musk's
the rocket company.
Yeah,
I don't know if space. I assume if he took Tesla, he took SpaceX too.
And his social media company X as well have left. So, blowing my mind. That's a tip of the iceberg. It is. So on that, I found this letter to the editor, the DJ, about Newsom, right? And it says Gavin for president with a question mark. I'll just read this quickly. So now Galloping Gavin is on the non-campaign campaign trail traveling around the country. What a wonderful record to run on. The highest tax rate, highest utility costs, highest cost of living, highest unemployment rates, highest homeless rate. After spending more than $20 billion on that project with no solution, right?
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B, right. One of the highest costs for gasoline. I would imagine California is the highest in gas costs. Maybe New York?
No. New York's cheap.
Really?
The only one that gives us a run for our money
Alaska?
is Hawaii.
Hawaii, right. Hawaii, that's right.
Alaska's
cheap because they're right on the pipeline or something or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. All right. And then it says California this kind of blows my mind. Actually, it kind of bothersome. California's education system now ranks in the lower half, about 44th or 45th in the nation. So do we really want him as president? I don't understand how he's going to campaign on a platform like that. He's going to get called out.
Well, he's not going to campaign on any of that.
No, but
his opponents are going to campaign.
People are going to call him out on that. So what is he going to say? What kind of leg does he have to stand on?
He's going to turn it around and say, "Well, it's still the fourth or fifth biggest economy in the world, and it is not due to anything he's done.
No, it's been that way for a long time.
It's been that way for a long time, and I'm surprised it's holding on as well as it is.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. I mean, we talked about Musk moving his businesses out of California. X, formerly Twitter, has become a major news source, along with TikTok and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And Gavin Newsom keeps posting to X on almost a daily basis. His PR guys are posting. And the 100, 200, 300 comments that come back at him are just brutal, highlighting all of this and even more.
Right.
Wildfire mismanagement. A lot of this is out of L.A.
Mm-hmm.
Rioting. He's don't bring the National Guard in to quell riots. Well, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do anything? No, you went off to South Carolina or wherever you are campaigning again.
Right.
He's really been a terrible, terrible governor. I mean, it's hard to imagine that there's enough people who vote for him repeatedly that can't see all this.
I have a difficult time thinking that he'd be running for president. I just don't. I mean,
he's running.
Oh, he's definitely running.
Yeah.
I get that part. Yeah. But what kind of leg does he have to stand on? I get it. Fourth, fifth largest economy in the world. Okay, terrific.
The question is.
But look at the people bailing out.
Yeah, the question is. Yeah, look at the asymmetrical U-Haul trailer rentals, right?
Yeah.
To me, the interesting question, just as a political observer, is whether or not during the Democratic primaries, any of the Democratic opponents will go after all of the laundry list that you just read.
Wouldn't you?
Sure, I would, but I'm not going to be in the Democratic primary.
Okay.
If I were doing that, I would pick maybe the top three of those, and just hammer them over and over and over again. It's atrocious, right? It's failing up in its most obvious incarnation.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
But,
I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of his
I'm
at
glad
all.
you did.
And I feel like I should be. He's a local guy, right? I think he went to Santa Clara University, grew up in the city. I kind of want to pull for the local guy, but good-looking guy, obviously. Although sometimes he kind of reminds me he should be selling Porsches down at the Porsche dealership here in Burlingame. He'd be a terrific salesman there.
Yeah.
Okay, but I just don't.
And how he's got time
For his podcast.
For podcasts, not just his podcast, but going on all these other
the
podcasts.
traveling.
Yeah, you and I have time for podcasts,
right.
Even if I only do 3 a year with you.
We have time.
We got time, and you've got time. He shouldn't have time. He's got problems that aren't even on that list that need solving.
He's what they say. He has his hands full. Okay, and he should be dealing with this stuff.
Water reservoirs, there's those costs are going through the roof. We haven't built a new reservoir in 2 generations.
It's been that long.
Yeah, been that long. And the big ones that are being emptied and reinforced are running behind on budget as well.
Yeah.
We got what was the latest deficit figure? $34 billion this year? With a B. Billion with a B.
And was it just a few years ago we had a surplus? It just disappeared.
12 billion surplus that just vaporized. Right?
Yeah, just went away.
Right. So, I mean, the other funny thing is Tony Thurmond wants to run for governor.
Wait a minute, who is that?
He's running the school system.
Oh.
He's the state superintendent of schools. It's like, holy moly, talk about living in a Sacramento bubble.
Yeah.
And
our school systems are what?
You just read it.
44th
45th or 44th. I thought I heard 47th at one point.
Yes.
From a good start, too. I mean, what was it 20 years ago? It was in the upper half, certainly.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Yeah,
correct.
Easy, probably. So, very disappointing. But as we like to say, at least we have good weather.
Yeah. We don't want to leave on a down note, right? We have great weather.
Let's think of some good notes.
We have great weather, great national parks.
We live in a great little town.
Yep.
If they'll just let us keep it, it's going to be even better. Moderate growth with protection for private property would ensure that this is going to be a fabulous place, And
we have a parade coming.
We could have more than one parade.
We could have more than one parade.
We could have parades. I'm more than willing to help you with parades.
Yeah, we got to have a parade, man.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to start a jazz club, I'm more than happy to help them with that.
I love it. What do you say you come back at the end of the year with Russ Cohen?
Absolutely.
And we recap all this again. Hopefully the sheriff drama will be over with. I'm not sure if the Newsom drama will be over. It's probably worse, but we'll just...
Yeah, I don't think the sheriff drama will be over either.
No.
Right. She might be out of office, but the lawsuits...
When would she be up for office again? Any idea? How long is the term, a sheriff term? Is it indefinite?
I'm guessing it was 4 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll give you... it can end on a funny note.
Yeah.
When I'm out hunting vinyl at Goodwill and Treasure Paws and whatnot, I occasionally stop through the aisle that has all the wine glasses on it. Right, because I'm always breaking wine. I'm breaking wine glasses.
You can never
all
have
the time.
enough wine glasses.
Yeah, my dog's tail breaks wine glasses. So I was down at Goodwill in San Mateo, found a couple of nice records. Go into the wine glass section, and there's 2 stemless wine glasses in there that said Christina Corpus for Sheriff 2022.
Oh, keep them.
No, I didn't buy them.
Buy them and go back and get them.
No, I got a picture of them.
That's a keepsake, man. No kidding.
I'll text it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think we'll end with that.
Yeah, perfect.
Joe Baylock.
See you in December.
Joe Baylock, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. I'd like to thank Joe Baylock, co-founder and editor-in-chief of the Burlingame Voice, for being my guest today on Burlingame. It's a small town sponsored by the Burlingame Historical Society. Before I close out, just a reminder that the Voice is now in its 22nd year, and if you haven't had a chance to read it, here's how. Just Google BurlingameVoice.com and check out the interesting articles that Joe has posted and the comments from readers. Lots of fun stuff. Thanks to my Minister of Podcasts, Mike Nagler, Executive Producer Shelby Lucchese, Director of Marketing Adrian Lucchese, and original music by Bray. This podcast was written and directed by Mark at the Mic and recorded on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025 at the Burlingame Public Library. The Burlingame Historical Society copyrights this and no part can be copied and replayed without the written consent of the Burlingame Historical Society. Be sure to look for my next episode of A Burlingame It's a Small Town podcast, as I'm going to have a conversation with John Kavranian, owner of Nuts for Candy and Toys on Broadway, Burlingame. So until next time, everyone, see you around Burlingame. It's a small town.